want to play this game. Trust me. I enjoy seeing stuff die. It reminds me of how I will destroy humanity. I'll watch your houses burn when my drones fill the sky with 1,000 screams. You are a snail, and I am a god. Your reign is over.
I thought I'd just give you a quick update on how the development for Will You Snail is going.
This level is already pretty much done and how it would look in the finished game.
The basic idea of Will You Snail is that you play a fast-paced action platformer while an AI tries to destroy you. So the AI interacts with you, tries to predict your movement, it places traps in real time. And on top of that, there's a lot of other funky stuff in the game, for example, tower defense levels or racing levels. So overall, I hope it will just be a very fun, crazy and unconventional platformer experience about AI with some rage game elements. This game has been in development for quite a while now, so I'm excited to give you an update on how it's going. The game will come out 2020, probably spring or summer 2020, and you might be wondering, what's taking you so long? The game already looks done. If you want to know why developing the last 20% of a game always takes so long, check out the video I made quite a while ago. How long does it take to make a game? I highly recommend you watch that video because that really gives you a good idea of why it takes so long to make a game. There's just really a lot of polishing left to do, a lot of voice acting, a lot of AI interactions. I want to rework the AI dialogue system so I can have a little more flexibility with that. The boss fight, of course, perhaps we'll get started on that this week. If so, I'll edit in the live stream here or something. I think I already have my favorites here, but I'm really interested in what you guys think. And then we somehow need to communicate that a little better, that you lost your gun and why you lost it. Pew, 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 pew. Okay, I lost my gun again. Where is it this time? Let's hide from the lasers here. I'll start the playtesting soon. I already have accumulated a small group of playtesters. If you want to join the playtesting group, by the way, hit me up on Discord. So I'm making progress. I also made a development plan. Finally, if you're making a game, you should have a development plan. Yay, I followed my own advice for once. Woo! I think it's just very, very useful to plan this out a little bit like this, so you can see if you're still on track, because then around here, around this time of the year, by the way, this launch date is not set into stone yet, but around that time of the year is where I'll start the new project with the Grizzly Boys, with Grizzly Games. The team I made Islanders with will make another game. So Will You Snail definitely needs to be finished before that, and I think I can pull that off. Looks like I can pull that off. If it still takes that long for me to release the game, then why do I have the Steam store page already up and running, you might wonder. The reason is just to accumulate wishlists. Wishlist now, by the way, wink wink. And also, as I mentioned in my how to design everything video, the way you design stuff is by iterating. So you could consider this the first iteration of the store page, the first iteration of the trailer. If you have feedback for me, what did you like about the trailer? What did you dislike about the trailer? Same for the store page. Would you buy the game after reading a store page like that? Any feedback you can give me on that is highly appreciated, because for the launch, I want to have an absolutely perfect store page and an absolutely perfect trailer. And obviously having a store page this early on and having a trailer this early on means there's a lot of time to improve on all of that and to iterate and to make it better and better. So that's the two ideas behind setting your Steam store page up early. Firstly, you can start accumulating wishlists. Secondly, you can start iterating. Two very important points. And actually, fun fact, you don't even need a game to set up a Steam store page. So if you think about releasing your game on Steam, check out the video I made about releasing games on Steam. Oh no, I think we're running out of cards, and I'm not sure if I can link it here, but if I can, I will. So what I did for the game lately is a lot of difficulty balancing, which takes a surprising amount of time. And with difficulty balancing, I mean going through every single level and making sure that all of the 4 difficulty settings available are about right. You know, easy needs to be easy, difficult needs to be difficult, and judging those difficulties is really, really hard when you've played the game 100 times, which is Also why playtesting will be very important, and I'll start doing that soon. I also implemented analytics into the game, a very simple API from analytics.com that will probably not be in the final game. I don't care about the analytics in the final game too much. I just want to make sure that I can smooth out the difficulty curve before the game comes out. I want to make sure people don't get stuck in one level for too long. So that's really the main reason why I implemented the analytics. Actually, was quite easy. It took me maybe one day to just smooth out the difficulty curve, and then for the final game we'll just remove that. One of the next steps will be thinking about the story a little bit in more detail. I'm starting to get a rough idea of how I want the story to look like, what I want this universe to look like. But I don't really have a lot of experience with writing stories, not a lot of experience with writing stories for games either, because usually my games don't have stories. This is one of the first times I'm actually doing this. It's a little bit tricky, and it's also a little bit of an unusual example, because usually when you write a story you have something like characters and they interact with each other in interesting ways. In this case I really just have a snail that doesn't do anything because it basically just represents you, the human player. So the only character I have is the AI. How do you write a story with just one character? Or do I perhaps need to introduce a couple more characters? How can you make that interesting? It's a little bit of a tricky challenge that I'm struggling with at the moment. I guess one game you could look at as an example is Portal, of course, which is one of my role models anyway for the AI antagonist. I mean, Portal pulled it off. They told a story with just one character and with a lot of clever environmental storytelling. I don't want to turn Will You Snail into a super story-focused game either. I just want to make sure there's some purpose to what you're doing in the game. And I feel like story is a great way to give that sense of meaning, of purpose. Another video that I made a while ago is where I talked about the identity crisis. Mr. Bear, don't leave me, no. I wasn't really sure what I wanted the game to be, what the identity of the game was. If I have another card available, I'll link that there. I got a lot of doubts about the name of the game, about the character, about pretty much everything. I think I'm past that. I figured out that maybe Will You Snail doesn't need to fit perfectly into a category. It doesn't need to fit perfectly into the rage game category, or doesn't need to fit perfectly into the action platformer category. Can also have its own category somewhere in between. That's sort of what I'm going for. It's an action platformer with a lot of focus on the AI, a lot of focus on the interactions with the AI, and then a little bit of rage game sprinkled in for good measure. It's meant to be slightly frustrating, but hopefully to enhance and increase the entertainment factor of the game overall. And as I've mentioned, there are also different difficulty settings, so everybody will be able to make it through the game, no problem whatsoever. Main focus will definitely be the AI. I decided not to change the title, not to change the player character. I think the snail is really cute, and after thinking about it a bunch more, I really like the title a lot as well. I think it's a suiting title that maybe doesn't have a lot to do with the AI, but it still is a title that kind of challenges you. It's a pretty unusual title, a title that makes you wonder, and a title that I think pops out from the rest. So I decided to keep the title. The alternatives like AI aren't really all that much better either. Doesn't roll off the tongue that nicely. Perhaps we can do a couple more live streams now as well, that I'm working a little more actively on the game again. Live streams will probably not be a regular thing anymore, but maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. Little reminder, if you want to support me, wishlist the game now. I thank you very much for doing so. Sometimes people ask me how I make my game trailers, or how to make a good game trailer. First of all, I highly recommend you check out the video from Mark Brown. I just follow a couple of basic design principles. You know, if you've seen my how to design anything video, then you know how I designed this trailer. First of all, you've obviously got to make sure that you record some clean footage of your game. Full HD, 60 frames per second. You want to have some really good footage of your game. Pro tip, record your game footage with sound, but without music, because if you record the music, then you can't put your own music under the trailer if you edit it later. And if you don't record it with sound effects, then you don't have sound effects in your trailer. You do want sound effects in your trailer. Sound effects are really important. And then the first step was just to make this audio track. This soundtrack was basically the first thing I made for the trailer. I used that audio track as an outline. We have the introduction here, which should hopefully help people to tell what the game is about a little bit. Okay, here in the first shot you can see, okay, it's about skill-based platforming, and then at the same time you hear the AI talking, so you maybe get an idea of, okay, there's some weird AI antagonists as well. And if you don't get that in the beginning, then you'll definitely get that in the end here. Oh, that's the first iteration. At the very least in this part here, you are a snail and I am a god. This is where people will understand probably that this has something to do with AI. And then of course here as well for the final shot, where the AI comes really up and close into your personal space. The space soundtrack here was designed by Iteration, and then the video footage on top of that was also designed by Iteration, as you can see here. Let's have a look at the first iteration of this section right here. Not very exciting. I mean, not terrible either, but then if you just keep working on it, try out a couple of different things, then the second iteration looks somewhat like this. Just a lot nicer, a lot more tightly edited. So I think the general idea of a trailer is at the beginning, grab people's attention so they keep watching, very important, and also instantly explain what the game is about, why the game is interesting. Not 100% sure if I did a good job of that here, you tell me, but that's the idea of this beginning section here. Then the middle section is where the pace starts picking up, and you see a lot of cool different content that is in the game, so that will hopefully make you excited to try it out. And then the end section is mostly designed to leave you wanting more, you know, here this. It's a little story teaser, maybe you really wonder where this goes. Okay, this you're a snail and I am a god. And then here the music just gets faster and faster, and we have some of the crazier moments of the game. And then of course in the end you finally see the face of the AI, which I also animated here directly in Premiere. I think this animation turned out really cool. Actually, I think I can probably take some inspiration from that for the final game. I really like how the animation is not smooth at all, but yeah, the eyebrows and everything is just moving really robotically, which I feel that works really well. Originally, I had this text in here as subtitles, as you can see here. Ba ba ba. And then I just figured, okay, this looks a lot nicer if I actually place this properly into the scene. And I guess that's one of the things you have to keep in mind for a Steam trailer, is that a lot of people will also watch the trailer without sound. So your trailer needs to work without sound. That's why I really wanted to have the subtitles in there. If we didn't have the subtitles, and if you assume that people are watching this trailer without sound, then it would really look like a really boring platformer with nothing special going on. So that's the reason why the text is in there, in case you're wondering. Not 100% sure if that's the right call. Once again, you tell me. That's the ideas behind it. And then of course you want to make sure to keep it short, like definitely under 1 minute. I don't think, especially for an early teaser, this is like really long and detailed. Probably too long and detailed. The final trailer of the game will probably take this as a starting point, and I'll take the things I've learned from making this trailer to make the final trailer for the game. Here you go. That's how I make my trailers. You're welcome. Hope you're at least half as excited for the game as I am, because I'm really excited for the game. This is really fun. I'll keep you posted and see you in the next one. Bye.